What's your favorite food in India?
What I love the most is Maharashtrian dal.
नमस्ते. रेव्हरंड चित्रलेखा जेम्स मोनोलॉगॉस ह्या चॅनलमध्ये आपलं स्वागत आहे. आज आपल्याबरोबर आहे फ्रान्सिस, माझ्या मम्मीची मैत्रीण, अँड ती स्कॉटलंडवरून इकडे इंडियात आली आहे आणि ती आपल्याशी आज इंडियाबद्दल आणि चर्चेसबद्दल आणि इंटरफेथ ह्या अशा विषयांबद्दल बोलणार आहे. सो फ्रान्सिसला मी तिचा स्वतःचा इंट्रो द्यायला सांगेल अँड मग आपण पुढे वळूयात.
Thank you very much, Prem. First thing I want to say is sorry that I have Tora Marathi, so I cannot communicate very well apart from in English. So yes, I live in Scotland, in a city called Glasgow. Originally, I'm from Northern Ireland, where I grew up, but my dad is from Scotland. So I've been living there for about 25 years. I currently work for a charity called Interfaith Scotland, and that brings people together from all different religions and cultures in Scotland. We have quite a lot of immigrants and quite a substantial amount from India and Pakistan. And so in Scotland we have people from all different religions. So Christianity is the majority religion, but we also have Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Baha'is, Sikhs, pagans, you name it, we have people from that religion.
How did you come to India and how do you know my mother?
So, I first came to India in 1998.
Wow, long before I was born.
Yes, oh really? And there was a Scottish charity called Link Overseas Exchange, and they sent out about 10 young people to India all over the country, and I was sent to Maharashtra. I had 2 months in a rural school near Ichilkaranji and 2 months in Pune itself working at different projects. I met your mother at the UTSM, so the United Theological Seminary of Maharashtra. She was lecturing and I was helping out in the office. I had just graduated from Theology, so we used to have lots of very interesting conversations.
I'm sure it must have been a great time, and India has changed a lot, I guess, since when you were there. So could you tell us a little bit about India and your experience, like when you had first come here and now that you're here after so long time? Like, how has it changed and what do you love about India?
Well, like many people who come to India for the first time, the first couple of months was a big culture shock. Living in the village, many people had never met somebody from another country, so everybody was really staring. So that was a bit difficult, and getting used to the mosquitoes and the different food and teaching in a school and quite different method of education. So that was the rural experience. Then when I came to Pune, it was a little bit more familiar. For example, having a shower rather than a bucket shower, although I loved the bucket shower. It's the first time, really enjoyed it. And going to, movies and shopping and all the things young women like to do. And also experiencing really amazing projects. So here at the convent of St Mary, working with all the girls who've come from difficult situations, and really touched my heart and always wanted to come back. There's something Mother Teresa said about in India there's people who are materially poor but spiritually rich, and often in the West we are materially rich and spiritually poor. and I learnt so much from the children, both at the convent and also at Deepagria, where I was working too. Just so much energy, full of life, positive, really wanting to study, because they didn't take their education for granted like maybe sometimes we do in the UK. So really changed my perception, and as a naive young person, age 22, I came out to change the world and put my Christianity into practice, to care and be compassionate for people who are less fortunate in their circumstances. But I felt I learnt even more than what I was able to give, because India has such a rich culture and diversity. So from the singing, the dancing, the food, drama, so many beautiful things that I got to experience and enjoy as well. So I felt I was taking so much away with me from the warmth of the people and your culture as well.
Thank you, Frances. Now, we spoke about your experiences in India. Now, could you also tell us a little bit about your life in Scotland and how you work and everything?
Sure. Thank you. So, yes, in Glasgow, I work for a charity, as I mentioned, called Interfaith Scotland, bringing people together from all the religions that I was listing before, and doing a variety of different activities. So some of it is meeting together, sharing food, having conversation, making friends across the divide. So some people may have some fear or stereotypes of people who are different, who look different, eat different, have a different religion. So it's a way of bringing those people together, and not just through meeting, but also by doing activities in the community. So whether it's doing an environmental project, supporting people in poverty, putting our faith into action in practical ways together. So there's dialogue. Some people like theological dialogue, looking at the scriptures of different faiths. My sessions that I run often looking at your journey of faith or life, so you don't have to have a religion itself, but maybe you've had an experience of God or spirituality to share with others, so it kind of supports them in their lives as well. One of the things I enjoy is going into schools. So I talked about challenging stereotypes, so we bring in people from all different faiths and they can ask questions, because sometimes they see very negative things in the media, news, particularly Islam and terrorism, and they put the two together. But coming from Northern Ireland originally, I saw on the news that it said that Catholics and Protestants were fighting, but I knew that it was more about politics and land and colonialism and all these things, but sometimes the name of religion was used. So I was very aware of this and the difference and the nuance between those things. So for me it was very close to my heart.
And now could you also tell us a little about the church system and how the churches work in Scotland, Ireland maybe?
Sure. That is a very large topic. So as I mentioned, we have a Protestant church and the Roman Catholic church. And in Glasgow, where I am, there's quite equal between the two, slightly more Catholics. And in the Protestant church, you have many different denominations. So Church of Scotland is Presbyterian. Then we have the Scottish Episcopal Church, which is Anglican. And then we have lots of different churches such as Baptist, Methodist, Free Church, and also the more Pentecostal, evangelical, charismatic churches as well. So they all sit side by side. Usually there's there's not much division between them. Growing up in Northern Ireland, there was more of a divide because politics was part of it. But in Scotland, it seems to be pretty peaceful.
What's your favorite food in India?
I'm laughing because I love all the food. Do you know, it's funny, I shouldn't say this, I was in Kerala before this, and it made me realise that what I love the most is Maharashtrian dal.
Wow.
Maybe because it's not too spicy and it's just very comforting. It reminds me of what we have at home, like a lentil soup. So I love that, and rice and chapatis, all the very normal things that you eat every day.
Coming back to Pune, so this is where you were first when you came to India. So Francis, you told me the first time you came in Pune was, well, last century.
Yeah.
So
I'm not, makes me sound very old, thank you for that.
so how would you say Pune has changed in ways like maybe technology, maybe culturally, maybe through how, we have a different sense of things now because of maybe in the internet and all the TV shows going around. So do you think India has grown and progressed, or do you think we are still trying?
That is a very big and difficult question, because I've only been here 10 days, of which 1 week was with the girls at the convent. I think the biggest thing, I suppose, is mobile phones. So many people have phones, and all the apps. So apps for getting a rickshaw and a cab. Very good for me, because as a foreigner, when I first came, you get in a rickshaw and you never knew how much it was going to cost or where you were going to go. Whereas now you can see Google Maps, you know exactly where you are. So that's been good. Every time this is my 5th time in Pune, so every time I see the development, new buildings, I don't even recognise some areas because it's so developed now. And I think the education system is excellent from what I've seen. I went to Pune University for the first time a couple of days ago, and so beautiful and such huge ground, so lovely. I can't really say very much more than that because I'd probably need a bit longer. So just the apps for the rickshaw was the first thing that I noticed. Every time I come, I find it even hard to recognise because there has been so much development over that 25 years, so many more buildings. Your population is the same as the whole of Scotland.
Wow.
I think 5 million. Yes. So many people. I always remember there being a lot of people, in the street. But now so many more buildings. Technology-wise, people having mobile phones and apps, even apps for getting a rickshaw. I used to go out and have to go rickshaw. But it's so, those things are very easy. WhatsApp to communicate, so if you have Wi-Fi, I don't need to get a new SIM card, so things are a little bit more straightforward. I was actually saying the other day how in a way it's a lot easier now for people coming to India, because when I came, no internet, no mobile phones, so you really were totally immersed in the culture. Whereas now you can just chat to your friends anytime at home. I'm sending them photos of the school and everything. So yes, I probably, if I stayed longer, I'd be able to give you a more in-depth on changes.
And Francis, about my mother. Okay. You said you met her years ago, again, in the last century, I'm guessing?
Yes.
So, how has that friendship been? And how have you come a long way?
Sure. So, Teacher Lecker and I, we reconnected actually in 2015. I came over for the 40th anniversary of Dibgrea, which is another charity that works in the slums. And Teacher Lecker and your father were at this special event, and so that's when we connected, and I was able then to visit the convent project with the girls, and I hadn't been back there since 1998. So then we've stayed in touch. Facebook Messenger is an amazing thing. So we're able to just chat.
So before we conclude, would you like to tell something to our audience? Something about you, something about everything, and just concluding the entire video in a few lines.
I have been watching these videos. Now, they have been in Marathi, but even just listening to the voice and, you know, the sounds of the Indian language, and I sort of get a little idea about the geological information, and so it's just been really nice to see all the YouTube videos, and it's very nice to be invited to be in one. So I just want to say thank you very much, Prem, for this opportunity, and Dhanyavad.